This is the AutoPulse. If you don't know how to use any of these things or have any questions, we have a cheat sheet right in the front here. It'll tell you some specifics about the AutoPulse. But first we're going to go over the contents that are inside the AutoPulse board. So we're going to open this up, and we should make sure that we have a life band in here. It's ready to go. We're going to have a carry-o. And again, if you're going to want to set one of these up and put the AutoPulse board on after you set this up, so make it a little bit easier on you. Right here, where you're going to have the tie straps. Is that what they're called? The tie straps. We use these for securing the board to a backboard. All right. And then we also have the patient harness in this compartment right here, which we're going to go over more when we actually set the patient on the board.
First and foremost, when you show up in the morning, you want to make sure that you check your AutoPulse for the daily, and the way we do that is initiate by starting to switch the batteries. Batteries, we have two, one in the unit, one as a spare, and one in the charger. The rotation goes as follows. Remove the one from the unit, take the spare into the charger, charger goes into the unit. The spare does not go back into the unit. These are nickel metal hydride batteries, and they lose 1 to 2% of their charge per day when sitting outside of no charger or no unit. So make sure, again, it's a battery from the charger into the unit, from the unit into the spare, spare into the charger. Once you do that, what you want to do is you want to make sure you test the band itself. You want to power the unit on. Once you power the unit on, lift the band until it's completely taut and high, and hit the start. Once you hit the start, it's going to go ahead and retract. When you power these units on, there's a 1.5 second hardware and software check. If it detects something like that, like a hardware malfunction, it will not allow you to operate the board at all. So if you're getting compressions and it takes a crap on you, that means there's something else going on and that we need to maybe try to troubleshoot it. So back to the daily, you want to go ahead and lift it up, power the unit on, hit continue, and you'll have the band retract. Once the band retracts, it's going to tell you to stop. When it stops, you're going to have a red light. Do not power the unit off when there's red LEDs shown. You will hit continue, and then what will happen is it will reset the entire system, and you'll have 2 green lights. Then you may power the unit off. Do not extend the band again. The band must be contracted at the rest position and ready when it's being stored. Basic operation, when we're going to get ready to use it, we want to lay the person down. Then we want to fully retract the band up. Once we do that, it allows the drive shaft to zero out. We don't want any violent up swings or anything like that, because the drive shaft can go beyond the motor and it could end up distributing the load unequally across the band. So we want to lift it up, hold it up, then hit the green, and then what will happen is it will cap through the patient's chest. The main thing we want for patient location is right here. This rubber piece here has 2 independent load sensors on each side. And what it does is if there's a difference in load, what will happen is that it will read differently on the band, and it will deliver awkward compression, for lack of a better word. This band works as 20% of the patient's weight will be doing the actual compression. So if you have an unequal load, it's obviously going to deliver an unequal compression, and then it will stop, and you'll have to realign the patient. That's why we hear it all the time. So if this thing is cocked, if someone is on the side, or if the thing is someone's slipping downward, it could technically affect it, although they said that it doesn't. So just make sure you align the patient correctly and having them equally distributed amongst the load strip. Once you're going to go ahead and, if you have malfunctions repeatedly after a couple initial tries, you want to go ahead and down the board, revert back to manual CPR, and then what you want to do is, once you take the board back to the station, go ahead and save the life band. If it's full of blood, vomit, whatever it may be, red bag it and keep that life band and send it to Station 9 to me with the board, and I can send it off to Kuzol to get it analyzed. Again, it's very, very important that we do the daily check and that you're swapping out your batteries on a daily basis if you can. Not if you can, you should. And you want to make sure that when you're actually powering it on, do not shut it off with any of the red LEDs, and that this should be stored in the retract position.
So a couple indications again for putting a patient on this AutoPulse board are 18 years and older, non-traumatic cardiac arrest patients, and no one exceeding the weight of 300 pounds. Now from here, we're going to have Engine 1 crew simulate putting a patient on the board. We're also going to simulate doing a corners cut, taking the life band apart, fully extending it, and strapping it back on. And we're also going to go over putting the shoulder harnesses on the patient. And as you can see, we already put the carryall on the ground and then laid the AutoPulse board on top of it to make our life easier when we do need to move this patient. All right, so now we're going to simulate putting the patient on the board. Again, as you can see, they're strapping the board, the strap up, and they're fully extending it right here. And then at this point, this is where they would put the shoulder harness on, and then when they're ready, they're going to turn on the AutoPulse and push the green button on the side right here, and this is going to cinch down on my chest. And you also want to make sure that the patient is perfectly aligned on this board, or else it may not work. So again, as you can see, that Engine 1 crew put the chest harness on the patient, and they also there's markings on the board to make sure the patient is fully aligned. Now if you're using this thing and the patient becomes unaligned on the board, it's going to advise you, and if that happens, all you got to do is just take the life band strap, fully extend it, reposition the patient back on the board, and then push the green button again, and you're ready to go. All right, so your AutoPulse battery should be changed daily and after each call. You can also check the life of the battery, but there's a little meter right here. Just push this white button right here, and it's going to show how much charge the battery has. When handling these things, you want to be very careful about this right here. You want to just take very care just not to damage that. You also want to look at the general condition of the battery. Take a look at it, make sure it's not leaking, no dents, or just obvious damages to the battery. Doing a monthly on this thing, you want to make sure that you cycle these batteries out, and when you do that, you want to go to the charger, run a cycle. When it's gone through the full cycle, you want to initial and date it. As we said earlier, the AutoPulse board or AutoPulse straps are single use only. So after you're done using the call, you're going to have to replace the strap. So how to do that is, undo it right here. You want to flip it over. And I already took it off basically, but there's these straps, these little connections on the side. You're going to pop these up, push in right here, and then you can see it's still connected right here to the AutoPulse board. So you're just going to want to push in on this white little tab right here, and then pull up. And that's all you have to do to take off the AutoPulse strap. Alright, now we'll cover replacing the AutoPulse strap. So basically, you get the new strap. You can see that the marking here matches this marking on the board. So it's pretty self-explanatory. Just match the markings. You want to grab this tab right here, and you want to place it into the opposite side of the white tab. Put it all the way in, and just push down. You're going to hear a click, and that means it's secured. From there, you want to make sure the straps get fully extended. Take these two little clips and just place it straight into the board. Snap the clips down, make sure it's secure, flip the board over, hook it up, and now you're just going to run your normal tests as you would checking out the AutoPulse in the morning. Now, when you take the strap off, you want to make sure you clean the AutoPulse board after each use. So doing that, you just basically use a bleach type solution or any type of disinfectant, and you want to go over the whole board. And you also want to be careful because there's these little crevices and cracks right here. You want to make sure that you can get in there deep and get all the bad stuff out.